we have something in our brain called the hippocampus, which is like the filing system of our memories. So think of it as just this really big, long file drawer that our memories are processed and they're filed away in there. Like, this is good, this is bad, this is a core memory, this is not. So it's this big file drawer. When you go through betrayal trauma, that file drawer is taken and dumped upside down and completely made a mess of on the floor. And this is because now your brain is wondering what is true and what is not. Everything all of a sudden becomes a lie. Hi, I'm Caroline Howard, biblical counselor, somatic practitioner, and founder at Relatable Counseling.
And I'm Chris Oneth, marriage family therapist and executive director at Downey Park Counseling Associates. Welcome to our next question.
This is where faith and psychology meet,
and where we explore life's big and little questions through thoughtful, grounded conversations.
It's a space for curiosity, connection, and growth.
Because here at our next question, this is a place of discovery and not the final answer.
We're so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Here's some behind the scenes.
There we go.
Usually
The blooper
start
reel.
with Caleb and I sitting here patiently waiting.
No. I'm doing all my research right now before we... Okay.
Chris procrastinated. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Christopher Oneth got us some beautiful mugs. I don't have coffee on me right now, but there's a podcast I listen to, and when they talk about a product that doesn't sponsor them, they call it a reverse sponsor.
Oh.
Like, hey, I'm not sponsored by 7-Eleven, but I highly recommend Dr. Pepper from 7-Eleven.
Oh, gosh.
That was like a double reverse sponsorship. You hit 7-Eleven and Dr. Pepper.
Right?
Look at that. Oh, that was a little gnat. Or I'm saying things.
I think you could tell we're out of the podcasting rhythm.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah, we are.
This is all, Caleb, you better add this. It could either be a blooper at the end, or let's just start it this way.
I feel like it's going in.
Okay,
just gonna
we're doing
keep talking.
it. Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
We're already going.
Are
Thanks
we?
for joining us, Chris.
Sorry, I was somewhere else up
And
here.
everybody else.
Yes.
I'm
How do
double
I sound,
fisting
Caleb?
today.
You sound great.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
You look great. You sound great.
That is amazing. I've been wanting to lose a little bit of weight here, so I've been kind of like, okay, Chris, it is Halloween, and so there's the pulling up of the past Halloween costumes, and there's always the pulling up of my Macho Man Randy Savage Halloween costume from over 10 years ago.
I was like, if you call me on my phone, I could show everybody because it's what pops up when you call me.
It certainly is. And back then, though, my waist was a little smaller and my shoulders and arms were a little bigger. So now it's reversed. Really trying to work on that.
So somebody came up to you and went, "Erk," and it went.
Yes, it was crazy. and listen, I've had help. I've had help from pumpkin lattes. Ew. I've had help from, did you say ew?
Yeah, I know. I'm not a pumpkin latte girl.
The pumpkin spice?
No.
The pumpkin foam.
No.
Cold brews are the ones I junk out on, and that is my soda.
Okay.
Like I don't junk out on soda, but when the season comes around, it's a little difficult when it's like 98 degrees outside to like indulge, but now that it turns fall, it's like whole hog.
Well, they do start at back in June?
Yeah, right? That's what it feels like. The same when they get the Christmas decoration sales in the store.
Exactly.
It's like, what is going on here?
Exactly. So welcome back. Like you said, we are recording on...
You've invaded another conversation we're having.
Well, we got to get going.
That's true.
We are recording on... I was going to say Thanksgiving. It's not Halloween.
It's also known as Reformation Day.
Also known as Reformation Day.
Thank you very much. Yep.
My big plans tonight.
All Hallowed Eve.
I have big plans tonight.
The Eve of All Saints Day. What's your... well, hold on. Before we go there, what is the topic we're talking about?
Oh, today we're talking about a topic that's very close to my heart, betrayal trauma. What is betrayal trauma?
What is betrayal trauma?
Is our question of the day. So I will start... Let's say this really quick. Probably going to put a little bit of a disclaimer on this one. If you have young kids, there might be some of this topic that you don't want them to hear. So I would highly suggest maybe listening to it
what
first.
Are you?
I don't know. It just can be kind of a deep topic.
It can. Sure.
I don't ever...
We'll make it as fun as we can.
First of all, I'm pretty sure our dedicated listeners know to listen before they let their kids listen to us. because you never know what we're going to get. Secondly, and then what are we talking about?
Yeah.
What are my big plans for tonight?
I don't know. That's my plans. I'm sitting at home.
Yes. I already got my comfy pajamas picked out.
And no one is coming to my door.
I got a salad mix. I'm going to turn off all the lights.
Chris, what if I show up at your door?
Oh, well, good luck.
Then you're getting tricked.
You'll have to get through the bloodthirsty hounds who will promptly roll over when they see anybody. And they're everybody's best friend.
I was going to say, this is sounding like a great Halloween.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm looking forward to. What are you doing anything?
No, I probably will be handing out candy to the few kids in my neighborhood who go trick-or-treating.
Yeah. This is my first Halloween in this neighborhood, and it's a gated neighborhood, so I'm not really sure people even come in here. So if they do,
you're going to turn off all the lights so they don't?
I don't ever turn. This is terrible. No one knows where I live. I don't ever turn on my porch lights anyway, so it's not going to be different than any other night. There you go. I have a couple, like a half of a bag, 100 grams over there left over that I haven't eaten this week. I need to,
excuse me, you just said a half a bag of 100 gram. Oh,
100 grams.
Grands. Oh, yes, I heard 100 grams. I'm like, this is taking a weird direction.
Yes, I'm going to hand out drug baggies to all the kids.
I've got several baggies over there of, golly, holy cow. This is why kids shouldn't listen sometimes, I guess.
Spiced Skittles. Don't let your kids eat Skittles. That's what I hear is
Skittles.
The thing now.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't have trick-or-treating aged kids, but they can be laced with fentanyl, so no Skittles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like the big thing.
Oh my gosh, that is that's tough.
I know.
Anyway, hey, this will come out long after Halloween, so it'll be too late by then.
It will be. Next year, don't let your kids eat Skittles, please.
So, big question, like what's been going on with us? We haven't had some new releases in a minute.
Yeah, we took off October.
Yes.
And that was me. That was me. I think the day before we recorded, I pulled the plug. And like you and I sat down and talked about, I don't want to sit here and do this podcast if I can't give it 100%. 100%. 100%. And so, we're in October now. So that would have been September. September was a crazy month, as everyone knows, been doing the divorce thing, tying all of that up that month. And mentally, I was done.
Wow.
I couldn't give anything else. And so, like I told Chris when we sat down of like, sometimes we're going to need to take a break.
That is true.
We want to be able to give our listeners good, solid, meaty content, and we don't want to half butt it. I don't want to have an E on our podcast. So I'll just say half butt.
Half-heartedly.
Although we might need an E on
half-heartedly do that.
Yes. I don't ever want to half-heartedly sit here and do this. And so, so guys, just like our faithful listeners, I know some of you on Mondays go and try to check and it's not there. And so, there's a mosquito right by your foot. Don't move. I'm going to kill it. Oh no, it moved.
He's going to have to cut that out now.
No, he doesn't. He can leave that in here.
Okay.
We get mosquitoes and it drives me crazy.
That happens. Yeah.
I know. So just know we're going to keep coming back. We just sometimes we're going to need a break.
Well, and here's the long and the short of it. The honesty of it is life happens.
Life happens.
Right. And we we host this podcast. Yes, we dig into this stuff. And yes, we therapize people, therapize them. Therapize them. Absolutely. But at the same time, we need people to confess to. We need people that support us. We need to take breaks and to clear our heads. So we are doing the things that we encourage our clients to do.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and I'm just going to throw this in that at this point, this is a hobby for us. We both love podcasting.
Yes.
I would love this to be my full-time job.
That would be rad.
Financially, that cannot happen yet. So
that's where you come in, listeners.
We do both have full-time jobs.
Yes.
Outside of this.
Less.
Well, and as well as Caleb. Let me not forget you over there in your corner, Caleb.
His teeny tiny chair.
I know. I thought for a brief minute, like, what could I do for your chair? But then the brief minute fleeted away.
It's good.
So we all have full-time jobs. So this is we do this on Friday afternoons. Chris takes off the afternoon. I shove my kids around.
Right.
Caleb comes straight from work. So it is kind of a balancing act. So all that to say,
Right.
we're here to stay. We love doing this.
Yes.
Absolutely love sitting here with you guys every time we get to do it. And sometimes we need breaks.
Yes.
So there you go.
There you go. And we'll let you know.
We also have a big announcement.
Oh, man. Huge.
Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't look at me and go like, what are you talking about?
I almost did. Truth be told, not going to lie.
No, we're not pregnant. No.
Oh,
the
God.
podcast is not having a baby.
There you go. Although I have a food baby.
Oh, I guess the podcast did have a little baby.
Did what?
We have... The surprise is we have a website. That's the
Yes.
podcast baby.
We have a website.
We have
and it is
baby.
ournextquestion.com. It's as simple as you can get.
Yes.
Ournextquestion.com. And the corresponding YouTube page is ournextquestion.com.
We are trying to make this as simple for...
It's very simple.
I want to say y'all, but really it's for us as we can.
Yes.
And we do have an Instagram at Our Next Question.
Our Next Question.
Keeping it simple.
Yes.
It's kind of just been sitting there because there's not very many followers. But we're going to start putting more on that.
We
Some
certainly are.
behind the
And if you
scenes.
leave a review on any of the platforms, we will scour these platforms, and each new review, we will gather your name and we will send you a kind of hello package or like a...
Are we doing that already?
We're going to do that right now.
Waiting.
I just said it into being. So the
I
hello
wonder why we
package, the
have
thank you
these.
package will include a signed letter from Caroline and myself.
Is it signed or is it autographed?
It's autographed. Now that you mention it, thank you for bringing that up. It'll have a couple of stickers that if you love stickers like I do, you can put them on things. And guys,
modeling
eventually,
stickers.
as we go worldwide, there will be T-shirts, there will be tongue depressors, there will be
Muzzles?
things with our next question on that would never consider putting our next question on.
I think,
I think we're already worldwide.
Sure.
We have people listen.
I think
from
we need
every
muzzles.
country.
Super
though.
worldwide muzzles.
muzzles.
How about toilet seat covers?
Oh my gosh.
How about, yeah, that's right.
Toothbrush.
Wow. We're going places.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all.
Got
So
the announcements out of the way.
So please check out our website. We had an amazing company do that for us. Ournextquestion.com. Again, really fun on there is that we actually have a contact page where
Yes.
you can ask a next question.
Please.
That might get used on one of our future episodes.
Absolutely.
And then if there's a lot of them, we might just have an episode where we just boom, 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 go through and answer questions.
That would be awesome.
So
Hey,
there we have
that's
it.
what we're all about.
Caleb, you should say hi. You've been quiet over there.
Hello.
Caleb's still here with us in his
Man,
corner.
a very-
I'm here.
I have a
few
picture
words.
of you in your corner. We'll post it on our...
There you go.
We'll
Caleb's
post it on
Corner.
our Instagram page.
Caleb's Corner. That's like a new segment.
We should add a
Caleb's
segment.
Oh my
Corner.
gosh.
Gotta figure out
I
what
just
that
did
is.
that. Did you see what I did?
I did. I got to write that down because we will forget. Oh, look.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's
moving
get to it. Our next question. This is a big one here. This is, a lot of people have gone through this. I have counseled a lot of people have gone through this. It is not just the event, but also lots of stuff leading up to the event. And that is, of course, what is betrayal trauma?
I feel like we need a boom, boom, boom after that.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
In my heart and mind.
So I shouldn't say obviously. For those who have been following along with us for the last decade, not really
2
however long
minutes.
we've been doing this, and you've heard my story, betrayal trauma is very near and dear and a part of my life.
Okay.
And so many of my clients are women who have gone through betrayal trauma.
Okay.
So when I'm talking today, I'm talking to the women who have gone through.
Women.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say I know what it's like for a man to go through this because I
Okay.
don't, because I'm not a man.
I have dealt with men who have been through this.
Okay. I have dealt with men who go through this, but I've never been in their exact
By
shoes.
far,
and so I know it's
by
different.
far, women
Yes.
way outnumber men.
Yes.
As far as this is concerned,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about that a little bit.
So let's just kind of open up really quick. Like, what is betrayal trauma?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So betrayal trauma, in what we're talking about today, betrayal trauma is what happens when a person, your spouse that you depend on most for safety and emotional connection, breaks that trust through deception or betrayal through infidelity, sexual addictions, like that. Sorry, there's just a bug. It keeps flying in my face.
Squirrel.
It's right here.
It's okay.
Yeah. So that is the betrayal trauma that we're talking about today. Betrayal trauma as a whole can include kids who have experienced deception or betrayal by parents or caretakers when they're younger. Will experience betrayal trauma as well. For today's episode, we are mainly dealing with this in a marriage.
Aha. Okay.
Okay.
So, boy, now it's over here. I see your pain, Caroline.
Okay, thank you.
I never understood. Now I do.
Okay. So when you're going through betrayal trauma, I have deeply studied this a lot in the last 3 years, almost 4 years straight.
Why is that?
Excuse me. Because I have dealt with betrayal trauma multiple times. Sorry, this bug is going to drive me bonkers. I have dealt through betrayal trauma multiple times throughout the last 30 years of my life.
Okay.
This is why I have multiple drinks. And I have been helped in many different ways. There have been periods throughout my past marriage where infidelity or deception happened and people would try to help me. I don't want to name things. I would go to support groups.
Yeah.
I would go to therapists. But there was always something missing. I would be told, you're codependent. You need to work on yourself. I've had pastors tell me, you just need to have more sex with your husband and then he won't cheat on you.
Wow.
And when this happened the last time, which is almost 4 years ago, I knew something had to change. Something had to be different this time as I healed because I really and truly wanted to heal. And so I found multiple ways of healing. I learned about betrayal trauma, which technically betrayal trauma in the psychological world is quote unquote a newer term.
Okay.
And that means it's been around less than 30 years.
Okay. Sure.
Right. It really kind of came about in the early 2000s, 2010s. And so not a lot of people know about it or know how to walk someone through it.
Okay. And so like help us to help listeners figure out like what are some of the symptoms? Like what indicates to you that you might have betrayal trauma?
Yeah.
Other than some obvious ones like, hey,
right.
you
Well,
were betrayed.
I mean, I can honestly say if you are dealing with infidelity in your marriage, or like I said, sexual addiction, so this would be with pornography and masturbation, you have been traumatized by betrayal.
Sure.
Now there's definitely different levels of it. So for some people, it's not going to be quite as bad. But you're going to experience things like intrusive thoughts, flashbacks, nightmares. You're going to become hyper vigilant, right? Always checking phones, timelines, asking a lot of questions. We'll kind of get into a little bit more of where the hypervigilance
seeking
comes
reassurance in some way.
Yeah. Emotional dysregulation, those really great mood swings between anger, sadness, numbness, happy. You're gonna feel crazy, but you're not crazy.
Aha.
This is your body's responding exactly how it's supposed to respond when it senses danger.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Here, there is. I want to just kind of go to like the hypervigilance, like your brain. This is the best explanation I'd ever had from a therapist. When you go through betrayal trauma, when you discover infidelity in this, or when it's disclosed, because it's not always disclosed. Sometimes you just, hey, surprise, guess what?
Yeah. What do you mean? When you say disclosed, you mean the betrayer doesn't come to you and say, hey, been doing this thing. You're saying it's been discovered.
Yes. So discovery is when you find it.
Yes.
Disclosed is when they actually come and confess it to you.
Right. And there's obviously a significant difference between each.
Yeah. But they're both going to cause trauma.
Both stink.
Yeah.
Right. Which separate for us like some of the impending results of each. I mean, obviously, if it's disclosed, I mean, I would imagine to some degree it's like, this hurts, this sucks, but at least my spouse has like opened up, come clean.
Yeah, but you're not going to get there for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good point.
You are not going to get there
It's
for
not like,
a while.
wow, but
Yeah.
at least it's a Thursday.
Right. Because because also it's why did they disclose?
Right.
Because it was going to get disclosed if they didn't, because
that is part of the deal.
And because they almost were getting caught. Now they got to, there's just so many different facets of that.
So then I would imagine if it's discovered, I mean, the question mark there is how long has this been going on? That would be the first one too.
Yeah.
But like when was, this obviously could have carried on, in perpetuity until it was discovered.
Here's what happens in our
brains. And even, if I may add, and I've just through, not personal experience, but through seeing all this go down, is oftentimes when there's disclosure and then there's resistance from the offender.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that. And there's this pushing back and all this other stuff. It's like, well, you're the one. We'll talk about this more, but you're the one who has the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good old gaslighting. So when whether it's disclosed or discovered, when that happens, you as the one who's now been betrayed, we have something in our brain called the hippocampus, which is like the filing system of our memories. So think of it as just this really big, long file drawer that our memories are processed and they're filed away in there. Like, this is good, this is bad, this is a core memory, this is not. So it's this big file drawer. When you go through betrayal trauma, that file drawer is taken and dumped upside down and completely made a mess of on the floor. And this is because now your brain is wondering what is true and what is not. Everything all of a sudden becomes a lie. And so that's where the hypervigilance or the questions of
because the world you understood as reality,
your safe place
has been completely upended.
Yeah.
And what you came to kind of trusted and be like, okay, believe it or not, it would. I used to teach history, right? And I would try to import with the students like the trauma of war. And I would say, look, imagine trying to go home to your house and the entire neighborhood's gone.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, where else do I go? Well, I go to my church and that's flattened.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, what about my school? And that's flattened. Then where do you go?
Yeah.
Your entire world and every anchor you've come to kind of, rely on without even full awareness that you were relying on them.
Right.
Has now been upended.
Right. Because that's the natural progression in a marriage, right? Like that is your soulmate. Bible literally says to become one flesh. They are to love you as Christ loved the church. They're your safe place. They're the thing you trust. And now the rug has been pulled out from under you.
Yeah.
And so again, you question everything. And there will literally, and I always had to tell clients this because I had to learn this myself. There will literally be times where you're asking a question and you're like, I've asked this 5 times. Why am I asking this again?
Yes.
And it's literally because your hippocampus is grasping at all these files now going, I don't know where this goes. I don't know where. And it's trying to refile them. So your brain's not mass chaos.
There's something else that's going on there.
What do you mean?
So philosophically, what's also happening is you are referencing the person outside of you, resources outside of you, namely the person closest to you, to define what is safe.
The person that betrayed you?
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem there is they are not the safety.
Not anymore.
Well, and maybe they never were.
No, but you might not have known that.
100%. And so what happens is you expect and you hope. And by the way, there's a bunch of different degrees of this. There is, because I've talked to many couples who, when the betrayed separates from the relationship and they start to see things that are true, they will also, in some cases, not all, because each case is different, they'll start to realize, oh my gosh, I wasn't seeing A, B, and C. I was, in a sense, in a state of, I don't want to just say denial because that's too simple. It's almost a state of ideal, like this is the relationship I truly want. Mm-hmm. And so they can, again, this is not 100% across all relationships. They can set up a situation that says, no, this is the relation I have.
Yeah.
This is the relationship I have. Oh, we totally communicate. Oh, we totally share our deepest feelings and everything else. And let me guarantee you, if there is someone who is stepping outside of the relationship, they are fragmented.
Yeah.
And they are not sharing a part of themselves. And so there may be a deep, deep, deep knowledge that there is not connection, mm-hmm. but that's too painful. And so in order to cope, it's, hey, this is the world that I hope to have, and therefore that becomes a type of reality. So when that rug is pulled out, that is super painful.
Yeah.
Super painful.
Yeah. And also remember, a lot of times these people, I won't just say men, because women do this too. Yeah. They probably have a history of lying that maybe you don't, right. I know the person I was betrayed by, he made the comment of, you would have never known I was that good at hiding it. And so some people are just living two separate lives and hiding it, and you may never know. Now, I don't say that so that every woman out there goes home and is freaking out like, oh my gosh, is my husband doing this or not?
Right.
But just know, I want to just tell any woman out there who is, maybe they've just found out in the last year, that their husband has been unfaithful or is addicted to pornography and masturbation. You are not crazy. I know you feel crazy. I know that your body is completely giving out on you right now. That is normal. That is trauma. Your body is reacting how it is supposed to react. And again, you are not crazy. Even if people are telling you you're crazy, you are not. This is what happens. And a lot of times betrayal trauma, they've actually done studies, and betrayal trauma can lead to complex PTSD, not in the DSM yet, but there are like actually a major thing going on right now trying to get this into the DSM. So complex PTSD, the difference is simplified. Let me just simplify this. PTSD comes from one traumatic event. Complex PTSD is like a million paper cuts.
Yeah.
It's happening over and over and over again. So the lies, the betrayal, the addictions, like it's something that keeps happening over and over again. And so then symptoms of that is going to be, you're going to have chronic anxiety or depression, difficulty with emotional regulation. You're going to become avoidant or isolate, loss of trust and safety in all relationships. And healing from complex PTSD, it really does start with stabilizing your nervous system, because your nervous system is completely shot. Nothing is safe anymore. Going to the grocery store doesn't feel safe.
Right.
Walking across the street to get your mail doesn't feel safe. And again, you feel crazy because you're like, I did this 2 days ago just fine, but today I'm freaking out.
And so let me add to that. So part of the difficult part in in complex CPTSD is the mind is stuck in a loop that will re-traumatize itself.
Yeah. And again, your brain is mush after trauma.
So what's happening is it's again, okay, so, like it's been traumatized. In other words, a person has lied to them and deceived them. Then they will, per behavior over years, go back to that person and try to find safety, even though that person is not safe. And this includes not only physically going back to that person, but you could be separated from this person. Heck, you could be divorced from this person. But if your mind is continuing to carry them in a space, then mentally you are trying to return to them and have them help you heal. And they can't.
Right.
In other words, in their brokenness, they can't heal you.
No.
And so this is one of the factors. By the way, when it comes to PTSD or CPTSD, there's dual factors there. There is the event, most certainly. There's also our reaction and behavior to the event.
Yeah.
There's also ourselves pre the event. In other words, even from childhood.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a few of the factors that keep folks stuck is number one, a rumination loop. Why did this happen? What am I missing? And this is interesting because it takes the responsibility back to themselves, the betrayed, and said, well, how can I fix this? But there's no handle to grab because you can't fix it.
Yeah.
So there's that rumination loop. And by the way, anytime we ruminate on something, that is it's a way for us to, we are trying to make sense of it. We are trying to make sense of it. So by the way, these 5 things I'm about to go over, these are also indicative of oftentimes the thing we employ to fix our situation actually can make the situation worse.
Yeah.
So rumination loop, like keeping that person at the forefront of your mind to where they are taking up valuable mental real estate, and you don't know how to get away from that, and you keep going through it and through it and through it. Number 2, a surveillance or assurance loop. Right? This is checking phones, locations, direct messaging, all the things to make sure they are not going to hurt you again, even though they've already demonstrated they have hurt you again and again.
So I've always said, and a lot of my clients and I will joke about this, betrayed women would make the greatest private investigators.
Oh gosh. No kidding.
So that will be my next job.
They can unpick any log. No, they can get through.
But again, remember, part of that's going to be that hypervigilance of your brain going, your brain is trying to fix things. Your brain is trying, your hippocampus is trying to put everything back together. So like there's got to be a period of time in that. And that's why healing is so important.
Right.
And walking through it with someone trained to walk through this is so important, so that you can get to a point where you don't get stuck in that hypervigilance. You don't get stuck in being a private investigator. But you have to walk through that to get to the other side. Part of that
is being able to say, there are things that I'm responsible for and I can control. I cannot be responsible for their behavior. So I have to be careful in my head or in my actions to not try to monitor their behavior, because I can't change that. Because by monitoring their behavior, you are going to, again, keep them at the forefront of your mind, and they will take up who you are. They will replace any chance that you have your own agency or autonomy. So that's number 2, surveillance assurance loop. Number 3, by the way, back to number 2, the surveillance loop, it goes through the cycle, checking phones, right? Interrogating. There's brief relief, then a new, strange thing that you discover. Then there's more checking. And then it's like, there's almost a reward system there. That's a terrible reward. And so but it does the same thing. It variable, and this is, another psychological principle is intermittent reward or variable reinforcement makes it even harder, because that creates the mind continuing to do what it does in trying to solve the problem. So number 3 is what they call a gaslighting internalization loop. There's a big one.
Yeah.
So when you, for example, if you bring the betrayal to the betrayer and say, well, what about this and this and this? And they go through the 5 Ds, dismiss, deny, defend, deflect, distribute, right? That is, dismiss it. Oh, that's nothing. Don't worry about it.
No.
Or, okay, I'm sorry. Can't we just move on? Denial is, no, I didn't do that. Prove it.
Yeah.
When did I do that? Because everything you give them, they will hit you over the head with.
Yeah.
Defend. Well, the reason I did that is because of this situation, that situation. Right. I couldn't because of there and this. Dismiss, deny, defend, deflect. deflect is, well, the only reason I did that is because you did this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that if you didn't do this.
Shifting the blame.
Blame shifting, exactly. And I did the 5 Ds because it was clever.
Right. No, I like
Okay.
that. I'm just putting other
Distribute
labels.
is Chris on the save, although I'm not a betrayer, but in regular arguing, it's, well, I wouldn't have done that if you didn't do this. Or, oh, no. With that, I'm sorry, that was the prior one. It's, okay, I did that, but you did this. Right. So see, we're both wrong.
Yeah.
But those
Even
are
Steven.
all kind of distancing and protection mechanisms.
None of them's ownership.
None of them is ownership. And here, this leads to the other crazy making, what they call, by the way, the whole 5 Ds, then the betrayed starts to doubt their memory and perception. So they seek clarity from the source of harm. This is the crazy. I mean, in a way, if on paper, that is rough.
Yeah.
And I've heard many times, and I'll say, mostly women, the very person that wounded me is the person I'm looking for comfort from.
Yeah. And so what sucks about that as a woman, this is what I always say, Disney screwed us up, man.
Totally.
Right? Because the Prince Charming comes in and he's the protector and he's the savior. And that's so ingrained in a woman's head. And that because, like, I can say for me, and I know I've heard this from multiple women, when I the very first time I went through betrayal trauma, I did want the person who betrayed me to be there as I healed. Like, that's what I desired, because for so many years, I believed they were my safe space and someone I could trust. And that doesn't just turn off because they just betrayed me.
100%.
You know, so again, like, your brain, and this is just how God designed our brains too. Your brain is just, it's chaos.
Yeah.
It's absolute chaos.
Wait,
and that
did you say
is,
God designed our brains in chaos?
No, God designed our brain. I mean, I don't want to go into all the intricate things, but he designed our brain for when it goes into trauma, in a sense, to protect itself. Because otherwise it would just explode. I mean, I truly believe if God hadn't created my brain, it would have exploded throughout all of this. But that truly is why I believe it's so important to find the right help when you've gone through this.
Yeah.
Whether it's a therapist, a support group, a counselor, there are coaches who have studied betrayal trauma coaches who know not just the talk therapy side of it, but the nervous system side of it. This is exactly what's going on because they've studied betrayal trauma, because it is different than any other trauma, what it does to your brain and body.
I would press against that a little bit, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
I got 2 more to get to, 4 and 5, and this is part of the fogginess of this whole of the betrayal trauma is that as the betrayed is looking for clarification. And boy, man, I've seen this in all kinds of situations. As the betrayed is looking for clarification and they go to the betrayer is not connected to themselves well enough to fully give the betrayed the answers they are looking for.
Right.
So it's called an ambiguity loop. And so I've heard people describe it as, well, I try to ask these questions and nail down certain concepts, and it's this gray sort of foggy, well, like maybe, or, stuff happened.
Yeah.
Or there's no concrete, like, I want you to say this, or I want you to, like, specifically confess, or I want you to do that because the betrayer is so disconnected from themselves. Right.
And they're living in shame.
And the reason they're disconnected is because they're trying to stay away from potential shame. Yeah. And by the way, it may not be just the shame of them being or betraying, but shame way back in their upbringing that they have trained themselves to disconnect from. And that was one of the primary ingredients to being a betrayer.
Yeah. There's a reason that led them to do this.
So there's ambiguity. So they call this, and my old mentor Wes Ferguson used to say, it's a crazy maker. Mm-hmm. Because you're saying, hey, you know that when you didn't show up to our daughter's birthday, like, what were you doing? And, well, nothing. What do you mean nothing? You told me you had a business thing going on. Oh yeah, I had a business thing going on. Well, like, but then later you said this, and it's like, and so the persistent loop that Betrayed runs through is they continue to try and find that source to get the answers, and they can't. So it perpetuates the trauma.
Yes.
And then finally, number 5 is of course, a sleep loss loop. Crazy. Mm-hmm. All these things, all these ruminations, everything else, poor sleep, lower cognitive control and emotional regulation equals more reactivity and rumination equals poor sleep equals lower you see, it just goes on and on and on. Yeah. And so given those factors, it's going to even lessen further the ability to say, wait a second, where's my mind going here? Mm-hmm. It's time to, like, okay, yes, this is how I'm reacting. This is how to begin to turn the corner. And so I think you were going to go into that.
I was going to go into the importance of getting help. I don't think that this is something that you can work through on your own.
Yes, that is true.
Because again, I've been working through this for almost 30 years. And when I went through it the first time, there wasn't anything. It wasn't called betrayal trauma.
No.
And there wasn't anything, and it didn't do any good. And so, so it is important. I think what I have learned is to find someone who is at least trauma informed. There's 3 different levels: trauma informed, trauma trained, certified trauma therapist. Someone who's at least trauma informed, someone who has studied and knows betrayal trauma. And I say this because I've experienced myself, and I have seen over and over again with clients who have gone to different people for help, and they didn't know about betrayal trauma, and it actually did more damage. And one of the biggest ones is, and this is what I experienced as well too, when I first went to get help, I was told, oh, well, you're just codependent. Go do a 12-step and work on yourself. And I'm not saying that I wasn't codependent, but that is like arriving at a car crash, looking at the car crash victim who's in cardiac arrest, and instead of resuscitating them, going, oh, wait, you have a cut on your foot. Let me get a Band-Aid. That is not.
So what do you think therapists, because here's the deal. Like, we know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. So, we have to be careful we don't slide into the idea that any therapist would be intentionally callous or abusive. Right. Although, some of the church remedies for some of this stuff, and you've experienced, is like, oh yeah, just be more available to your husband. Right. Does not help. That is not the issue. Right. It is not. I'll tell you what else isn't the issue. Okay. Like, how do I say this without sounding too crazy? More sex isn't the issue. Not arguing with your husband isn't the issue. Right. Being more agreeable, meeting his needs, because what's happening is he is not meeting deeper needs. He's not able to discern the individual needs he has in the relationship with himself. Mm-hmm. This is, by the way, the tri-relational model. Mm-hmm. In the relationship he has with himself, he's not able to meet those needs. He mistakes those needs being met. He mistakes other people needing to meet those needs for him. And I'm saying him generically. And so there's a relational tilt that is not effective. And so it would be like me telling my wife, well, my feelings were hurt at work, and now you need to baby me when I get home. Right. That's not helping. Yeah, now she can listen to me. You know, she can support me, but she can't fill those wounds. Oftentimes that's a relationship with the Lord, and that is getting, recognizing what I want and need and articulating themselves. The other problem with betrayers is that they have a fragmented sense of self.
Yeah.
They often start hiding from childhood parts of themselves. And by the way, mark my words, if you are listening to this podcast and you are hiding things from your spouse, that is the beginning of a fragmented self, and that is setting you up for a fall. So please get some help.
Yeah.
And so now the part of the struggle, what did I start this diatribe with? It was therapists not trying to be damaging.
Right. Yeah.
So
because you don't know.
In my experience, when a therapist says, "Hey, there's codependency issues," there's some truth to that. There's some absolute truth to that.
Yeah, but again, we're dealing with the cut on their toe when
not necessarily. I would push back on that. Because
and I'll push back.
All of these loops we're talking about. There's dependence, plus the violation. Yes, the violation is there, but there is a type of dependence that may have gone. It's one thing to be betrayed. That's horrible. Mm-hmm. It is. If the loop continues to try and go back to that partner for validation, for repair, for all those things, 5 times, 10 times, 30, 80, at some point, it is the hard work to say, I can't go to that person.
Yeah.
If I do, I'm re-traumatizing myself by hoping they're going to be something that they're not. That's when someone says codependent, my estimation, I guess my way of trying to think the best is that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, but the last thing that someone who's just gone through betrayal trauma needs to hear is, I just had a brain fart, is being like, again, yes, I'm not saying don't deal with that, but I'm saying that the first and foremost thing someone needs who's gone through betrayal trauma is to find a sense of safety again.
Yes.
In their own bodies. You have to find, healing starts with finding safety within and then working through that. And honestly, what I've seen probably 9 times out of 10 is as you work through the healing of what your body and your brain have just been through, those things start to heal themselves. Just like if I don't put the Band-Aid on the toe.
Safety and healing can't come if they're continuing to do the same behaviors that are hurting them. In other words, continue to have that person.
Safety within yourself can come.
Okay, so
because once you find safety within yourself, then you can realize, oh, I don't have to go to this person to find safety.
So okay, so I get that. Yeah. Okay. So I will agree with, so safety within yourself. The problem is the default is I always go back to that person. Right. And I've seen it 1,000 times. Yeah. I've seen it. Well, it's like I so want them to be something different. Mm-hmm. I so want them to be something different. That's where part of safety in yourself is saying that's not an option. Right. I cannot go to that person.
Right.
So that involves, breaking the dependence the betrayed has on that person.
Yeah.
That further increases their own autonomy and agency and recognizing, okay, wait a second. Boy, I can go eat somewhere where I don't have to ask this person. I mean, this sounds ridiculously simple, but it does start off simply. I can make a choice where I don't have to check in on that person or they don't have to approve of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes the person who's been betrayed also comes into the relationship relying heavily, again, this is not 100%, but they can come into the relationship relying heavily on others to determine who they are. And per the tri-relational model, it is a relational substitution loop. In other words, I turn to people to define me because I'm having a hard time defining myself individually and even engaging with my environment and how I fit there. So I rely on people, and this particular person I relied on was wholly not safe and not someone I was supposed to rely on.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that, yeah, those are things that happen down the road, that there's other things that have to happen first that have to be dealt with. Because if you start speaking that language if you start speaking that language at the beginning of someone who's just discovered this, it is going to completely break them. And I say that because, again, I've experienced that from people who I went to for help. And I've had clients come to me who have experienced that from people that they went to for help. And so then it's a backpedaling of, okay, we will get to that. Let's start here, because right now what we need is,
I'm confused because
safety.
how would you be safe if you continue to go back to that person?
Because at the beginning, because that person you don't even know at first if that person is unsafe. If they're saying, I did that, I'm sorry, and they're getting help and they want to work that out, then then that's not even part of the problem.
Yeah, totally.
What you need at the beginning is you need your own safety, internal safety, to be focused on. You need the emotional healing. You need the body and mind healing from the trauma, because how can I even deal with that when now all of a sudden, because of the trauma and the stress, I'm having anxiety attacks. Like you said, you can't sleep. Now I've got ulcers. Now I've got heart conditions. And I say all of this because this is all what I went through.
Right.
And nobody stopped to say, hey, let's find some safety within. Let's work on your body so that then we can go work on all this other stuff that's going on.
So, but wasn't that all being perpetuated by the going back 20 times, 30 times, 40 times to that person? Like even mentally?
Was all of what being perpetuated?
Ulcers, lack of sleep, rumination.
A lot of that is because trauma and stress live in our body, and if we're not, which we'll get to, that's the whole somatic thing that we're going to get to on another episode. If you are not working that out of your body, that will sit in your body. And so 28 years ago, when I went through this the first time, no one knew about somatics and how to get this out of my body. So it was just the talk therapy part and work on your codependence and work on this, and you need to do this. And
I totally agree with you, Caroline, that that therapists really need to be careful. And
I'm not poo-pooing on therapists. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you've gone through betrayal trauma, I would highly recommend you find someone who's knows about it, who isn't going to just on your first session when you sit down go, oh, well, you're codependent, let's work on that.
Right. Well, there is a space. Okay, and you would be able to clarify this. Isn't there a space where you sit down with a person who has been traumatized and they say, okay, what is it that is within your hands, and let's find things that you can do aside from what you think you can't do. Let's focus on what you can. And one of those might be, okay, I can take care of my body.
Yeah.
I can get that safety, and I can also begin to realize that after 25 times of going back to this person, man, I'm going to have to do the hard thing, and okay, well, there I go again. I went back, but hey, this other time I didn't go back to that person, and I sat with my difficult feelings that I'm having about this, and even let them go, and begin to make space in my mind for other important, valuable things.
Yeah. There is a space for that. It just takes time. It will take you time to get there.
Sure.
I think there's definitely a progression and a progress, and that internal safety and working on healing your body while doing that is vitally important. You need a mix of both. You need a mix of many therapists and people.
An entire team.
I
laugh, but it's the same.
Team.
Well, and by the way, in our space, we see people the people who do the best are those who usually, they come to professional, therapy, counseling type stuff. So they have that resource. They also have a healthy friend network, right, who can speak into their lives. They also are constantly learning about themselves and, studying. This bug.
The bug. It's the one bug.
Like visiting all of us. They are studying for themselves, understanding how they operate, and being absolutely honest. And we'll get to blind spots next episode, but be absolutely honest of, okay, oh man, here's what I'm doing to potentially perpetuate this area that I'm stuck. But again, this is not like I'm screwed up, I'm so crazy. This is, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing to try and fix it. And in maybe other contexts, this would work with other people. Like going to them there would be some movement forward. But man, I have to learn not to do that with the person who hurt me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to wrap this up.
Man, that's a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff. So I wanted to do this episode today. For years, I have had clients ask me, please start a group, please start a group, please start a group.
Ooh.
So I am actually going to start Betrayal Trauma Healing Group. It's going to be a 10-week group. We're going to meet once a week for 90 minutes. It's going to be a small group. I'm going to cap it at 8 people.
Nice.
I've been developing a workbook over the last 2.5 years. So we'll be going through a workbook, a guided workbook. There'll be text and email support. I'm super excited.
Remind me to put a link on the website.
Okay. So if you are interested, you want to sign up, you can go to my website. Because I know my website, relatablecounseling.org. Just message me through the contact form there and I can get you all the information and get you signed up. So just super excited because I know I've done a betrayal trauma healing group and it was one of the best things because when you're sitting around with other people who've gone through it, it really just affirms like, I am not crazy and losing my mind. This is all the natural thing
valuable
that happens. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Caroline, I want to thank you